Dream a little dream of me. Welcome, kindreds. It's Jessica the Story Witch, and I'm trying to harness the last of the fading light here in a very autumnally Wales. Is autumnally even a word? I don't know. But I wanted to film a little video about what is going to be happening with the bullet journaling setup live videos that I've been talking about for the last couple of months, probably now. I'm really excited about these videos, and I had a really good response to people who said they were also interested in using this format, because I know sometimes bullet journaling it seems like it's only for those people who have got super neat writing and are really organized, and I am neither of those things. So the idea is that we're going to kind of do it in a very supported and helpful way, so that anybody who wants to set up their journal will be able to set up their journal how you want it, not necessarily exactly the same as how I do it. It's going to be totally open for you to be able to do it, but I'm going to model the things that I include in my journal, so that if you want to copy those things, then by all means please do that. And then you can make it your own, you make it your own. And you might find that you don't want to have the same spreads as me, and that's totally cool. I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit. I want to just quickly look at my notes to make sure I'm saying everything that I wanted to say in this video. I don't want to take up too much of your time, because this video is not going to be going into the practical aspects. This is just more of an introduction to what this little mini bullet journaling series is going to be about. And the aim of this is so that people who are watching this series will have everything they need to set up their own bullet journal or magical journal. My bullet journal is my magical journal. I don't have a separate book of shadows or grimoire, although I do have a massive pile of other books which I've been kind of building up to for a while, and I am thinking at some point I might start pulling things out of these books. But the bullet journal is so much more immediate. It is like where I note down like my thoughts from my meditations and any dream time things that pop up, and any workings that I've been doing, and those things then sit alongside the mundane aspects of my life. And so it's really easy to see the connections between the magical and the mundane, and how those things kind of weave together, which is why I love having this setup of bullet journal with book of shadows, grimoire, whatever you want to call it. They are one and the same for me. So if that sounds good to you, and you are perhaps already doing it, but maybe you want some more ideas about how to do it, or if you've never bullet journaled before but you're keen to try, then that is who I'm making this series for. You are who I'm making this series for. So this is like the introduction video, like I said, and there are going to be 8, is that correct? 8, I think, more videos in this series. 2 of them are going to be live videos. We're going to have a live annual setup video, and what I mean by annual setup, this is my, was this from January? Yeah, this is from January. This is my bullet journal from earlier on this year, because they have 240 odd pages in these journals, which isn't enough for a whole year if you're writing it every day like I do. So 250 pages, I think, but that might be more than enough for you for a year. But I tend to go through 2 if not 3 of these a year, just because I'm long-winded. So, but what I mean by annual setup is the stuff which isn't your day-to-day, is the stuff that you kind of put at the front of the journal, or sometimes at the back of the journal, which is going to be ongoing. It's not linked to your particular monthly things that you're doing. So for example, I tend to have a title page which has my word for the year, which is something that I will be talking about a little bit more in this series, and my cards for the year, and my goddess for the year. And then these journals, the ones that I like, sorry, the light's shining a bit too bright on that, you can't actually see it. These journals have an index section, so you can fill in where, this is why bullet journals are so amazing. The index was a total game changer for me. I was like, oh my God, yes, brilliant. You can find the stuff, like when you're like, oh, I know I wrote about that a while ago, or when did this particular symptom start happening, or when things change and stuff, you can go back. You can also look back on the moon cycles, so like when we get to like Aries full moon, you can look back to what was happening on Aries dark moon and draw parallels between those things, so it's useful. And then I tend to have like a little goal setting bit. I might have to let me see if I can turn this light down a little bit so it's one of those dimmable ones, so perhaps you might be able to see better. Okay, yeah, so that's a little bit better. So I have like a goal setting section, so that will be another one of the lives I'll do where we talk about goal setting and things like that. I have trackers, and we will be talking about those as well. I have a period tracker, blood moon tracker. I also have like lists, record lists of things like books I've read, books to read, things I want to buy, things I want to consciously consume. Some of these I end up using more than others. Some I don't, recipes, some I don't use, and then I didn't bother using those then in my next book for the year sort of thing. So that's what I mean basically by the annual setup. And what I'm going to do is split those annual setup preparation videos, because if you were just going to dive in and do the live, you wouldn't be able to like think of your goals for the year or know what your word for the year is straight away. You're going to need to do a bit of preparation beforehand for that. So that is why I'm going to make these like kind of lead up videos before we do that live. So the things I'm going to be covering in those lead up videos, I'm going to talk about resources, which means like which journal I'm going to be using, which pens I'm going to be using. Of course, you don't need to use those exact same things. You can do it however you want to do it. So, you know, you do what is right for you. But I'll just share, because I know people are always asking me, which pen did you use for that? Or, you know, what diaries do you use and things like that. I will also go through a flip through of my 2019 diaries that I'm going to be using to feed into my bullet journal like I did for 2018. We're going to have a session on, so none of these are live videos, I'm going to just record these videos for you. I'm going to have a session on words for the year, what that means, having a word for the year, choosing cards for the year or a card for the year, and working out your card from the year from a birth numerology point of view as well. A goddess for the year if that's something that you resonate with, you know. So like I say, you can take and leave, it's a buffet. You take what you want and you leave whatever the things that you don't fancy, you know. A goal setting session and kind of closing out of the previous year, stuff like that. And this is not going to be like goal setting, like a work goal setting. I'll show you a little bit of insight into my process and how I do that, and how that feeds into my word and goddess and things like that too. And a trackers section, so in that'll be things like a daily draw tracker, blood moon, book lists perhaps, if you have like a tarot wish list, things like that will be under that section. And then another section which will be where we talk about other things you can do, like if you like to use collage like I do, maybe you want to do a self-care collage. I enjoyed doing that this time in my bullet journal. Perhaps you want to include your natal chart, your astrology, what the index means, title pages, ephemera, things like that. So that'll just be a kind of mop-up video for all the other things that I didn't cover as separate sections, if you see what I mean. And once we've done those videos, you won't have to have done them as preparation, but if you want to be including those sections, it'll be more helpful if you've got that information. Then when we do the live, you'll already have all the stuff ready. So all we'll be doing in the live then is actually filling it in, you know, and setting up those pages. We won't actually be thinking about what's going to be in those pages, because otherwise we literally would need a live that stretches out for a few weeks. And then we'll do the monthly setup then, and I'll talk a little bit about that. That'll just be like a live video where we do the monthly setup, which might include, I've just been doing my one for October, and in the monthly it'll include, like, we'll have a title page and the calendar spread for October, which will include your deck, cards, stone focus if you want that in there. You might want to choose different things to focus on. That's totally cool. I then distribute some of my goals that I started at the start of the year into this list for what I'll be doing in October and things I might need to buy and able to support those goals. I have a habit tracker, which always forms part of my monthly setup. I include a gratitude list, field notes of what I'm doing when I'm going outside, things like that. And I stick in some pages of astrology. You might not want that. If you do, you might want to choose it from a different place from what I do. And then I actually do dailies. So I do set up a whole page for each day, which is why I pull so many books. But you might want to do that, you might want to not do that, and I'll talk about different ways of doing it if you don't want to do it quite like this. So I hope that all makes sense, and I hope you're excited for the lives. I'm throwing books everywhere now. I also do tend to buy the same colour journals so that they'll all I'll know which year they are all together. Went for this kind of emerald green this year, and last year I went for red. So have I got some of them here? So you can see, like, shaking the camera, you know, so you can kind of find the year really easily as well. So I prefer to do that. You might also, again, not want to do it like that, and that's totally cool. I'm going to go for royal blue, still with the light term 1917, which is my favourite. But anyway, I'm getting into the resources now, and I'm going to make a separate video about that. So I will be coming to you soon with a separate video. If you want to stay up to date with what is going on, please subscribe and do that notification bell thing. I don't think I've ever said that before in a video. That's so funny. All the videos my kids watch are like, hit that bell, so you make sure you get notifications to my channel. But yeah, if you do want to follow the series, then perhaps hitting the bell might be a good idea. Or just make sure you're subscribed, you know, and then hopefully you will see in your feed that these videos are coming out. And I will make a playlist for it as well, so it should be quite easy to find the videos within the playlist. So I hope that all sounds good to you and makes sense. I can smell that the wedges that I just cut and put in a little while ago are now probably ready, so I better go down and sort that out. Thanks for watching, guys. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.